Hello, my friends. This is Lada from Astrolada.com. And today I will start with a little story. For the last more than 19 years, I've been suffering from some condition that no doctor could tell us what it was. I could not breathe. I had anxiety. I had pains and aches all over my body. I felt like I'm not of this earth. I didn't want to be in my body. I would cry myself to sleep because we couldn't find it, why I couldn't breathe or anything. Since the last year and a half, I started using scalar-like technology, and recently I discovered also frequency healing called Rife technology. This totally changed my life. In just 3 sessions of 30 minutes or 1 hour and a half, all my allergies, all my chronic anxiety and chronic fatigue and panic attacks disappeared. All my digestive issues disappeared. And I'm here to present to you the creator of this machine called Spooky2. It's a Rife machine. Sorry, I dropped out for a second there.
Oh my goodness.
Something
Okay, well,
happened. I don't know where it could, but I'm here today to present to you the creator of this incredible technology, John White. And thank you so much for joining me here, John. Uh, I'm
thank you
honored
for,
that you are on this show. There is hundreds of thousands of reviews of the Spooky2 Rife machine, which I've been reading over the last 4 or 5 years. People getting healed from cancers, from all kind of lifelong conditions, from snoring, from pain, from anything you can imagine. And you created or maybe recreated this machine. Can you tell us a little bit more about frequency healing?
sure. Well, before we start, well, hello and thank you for inviting me onto your show. Um, when I talk about Spooky, um, I started Spooky, but now Spooky is a large team. So it's the team that really does as a group. And what makes Spooky very different is that we don't just do it alone and we don't run it like a business. We do it with a passion. It all started long ago in a garage in New Zealand where, um, okay, just prior to that, I'd lost some family members and I felt that feeling of helplessness where you think to yourself, gosh, if only I had something that could have helped extend their lives, the lives of the loved family members that have passed away. And so I decided, right, my life journey is going to be to provide solutions, not just for myself, but for everybody. And so I started designing and creating these machines that did just that. Um, Fortunately, well, probably hand in hand with my goal of creating machines, I did my formal studies with electronics, computers, and biological systems. So it all merged together, all this knowledge, and I created a device with in collaboration with a researcher in South Africa who spent a whole year trying to convince me, a hard-nosed engineer, that something wasn't just imagination. And yeah, with his help, gentle guidance, we both created an amazing a way of transferring frequencies over long distances. Now let's talk about frequencies for a little while. Um, Everything is frequencies. Frequencies is energy. Frequencies is life. Once you pass away, your body does not have the life-giving frequencies. Not just that, Lada, but as different diseases respond to different frequencies. You'll have one disease needing a certain set of frequencies and another disease requiring a different set of frequencies. So we designed machines that could send the specific frequency, the exact frequencies which are needed to tame these beasts inside your body and with any luck get rid of them. And that was a long time ago when I first did that. It was, what, 15 years ago when I first started doing this. And of course, I was getting bigger and bigger with the number of people that came on board. The people that I work with, I'm not a lone wolf. I'm the opposite. I work with people. I find solutions and I pass those solutions on. I never consider, well, this is a good money spinner, I'll become rich with this item or whatever. And you can see this in the prices of our products. We price things as cheap as possible so that as many people as possible can afford them, which is our underlying goal of eliminating disease and illness for everybody.
Mhm.
What point is it in having a great machine and it's in the thousands of dollars, and only the people with deep pockets can afford them? So right from the very beginning, we've kept our pencils sharp, so to speak, and made sure that the machines that we produce are the best. There hasn't been any compromise in performance.
I
You mean?
absolutely can see that, because if you go looking for frequency healing machines, Spooky is always the top one. You have over 100,000 clients around the world, at least in the community,
Yeah.
and thousands and people on forums I've been reading for the last 4 or 5 years. When it comes down to frequency healing, everyone says Spooky2 has no equal. And people would say, I haven't had a cold in years since I've been using Spooky2. I
Mm, mm.
haven't, I solved my digestive issues. I solved my hair falling out, like story after story after
Gosh.
story on, they use them on plants, on animals, on themselves.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're obviously the way you lead your business and the way what you have discovered, as far as I heard, is based on Dr. Rife's discoveries,
That's
or
right.
or
That's
you
right.
did it from the beginning yourself, you rediscovered. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, um, through my formal studies, I understood quite deeply the concepts of resonance, where if anything physical is shaken at a certain frequency, it'll absorb the frequency, and the frequencies it'll start moving more and more until it either breaks or shatters, or something something happens. And the same can be applied for very small things like cells, and that's what the pathogens are made from, little cells. And because they're standalone, they haven't got the network of cells next to them, they're very susceptible to this energy. So um, we haven't just made the equipment to apply these frequencies to the cells of these pathogens, these viruses, bacteria, mold, everything, the whole lot. We also set out to find these magic frequencies. There's lots of numbers floating around that you try this frequency and it'll work, and that frequency and it'll work. And that's all fair and good, but what about precision? And we're making machines which have got 8 decimal places for frequency resolution, and yet everyone else in the world has got none. And so we've got the high-end machines running at low-end frequencies. So we set out to create databases. And so we've got the world's largest DNA database for applying DNA frequencies to anything you can think of. It's all free data. We don't charge for that. We don't charge for our molecular weight database frequencies either. I mean, it's numbers. We deserve them, right? And who wants to get rich on somebody else's illness?
Yeah, and I noticed
That's
like a lot of other services, like this ones, I'm not gonna say names, but uh maybe like Healy, they're like on subscription, but you just give it to them at once and that's it. They own it
that's
for
it.
life.
That's it.
And it's a few $100. It's
Yeah, yeah.
extremely, and you get like a huge suitcase with devices, machine. But how would you know which frequency to apply for yourself? For someone who is, how would you know, like,
Well,
okay, what should I apply to me? There are hundreds of
sure.
thousands of
Well, um, education goes a long way. We have the forum and Facebook groups, so you're never alone in illness. There will be a pathogen for sure causing a problem. So you've got to discover what that pathogen is. Once you know the name, you go knocking on its door and evict it by
does the
using.
machine can do it? Can it scan you and tell you what it is? Or
Yes, yes.
oh,
We have a biofeedback system. In fact, we have several. We have it for both contact mode as well as for other modes as well. It's a way of putting frequencies into your body, this magical device listens to what happens during this frequency sweep. And any frequencies that go, whoa,
Resonate.
they're the ones that it writes down on a piece of paper and then goes back and then applies those very same frequencies extremely accurately. And when you do this, the results are even more profound than using the mainstream database programs that you see, apart from the ones like DNA, which are very, very precise. It's like giving power to the people.
Mhm.
And in some aspects, spooky is a little bit complicated, but diseases are complicated. You imagine hopping into a Formula One car and you've got dials here and hoses and everything, and you think, gosh, but you can go so fast in those cars, much faster than a regular car. Well, in fact, even driving a regular car, you need to learn where things are. You need to know where the gear stick is. You need to know where the steering wheel is. You need to know everything like this. And spooky is kind of the same. We try and make it as simple as possible. So we've created presets. So if someone says, well, I've got arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. The doctor says there's nothing I can do. Well, I mean, Lada, you and I both know there is something you can do.
Mhm.
So you start up the Spooky software and you do a search for rheumatoid arthritis. And you'll see that some loving soul has written a preset which sets everything into your system for rheumatoid arthritis. So you click on it and you press go. And that's it. That's it. So we have tried to simplify it.
Yeah.
Of course, there are finer things to learn later on, but we are aware that a lot of people are sick and their mind might be a little bit muddled or they might be confused because of this condition that they have. People may have brain fog.
Mm.
It's a terrible thing. But what almost always happens is they start with the basic program, even if it's not actually the absolute best program, and they elevate their health to a state where they start thinking more like how they used to. And they think, okay, now I can try tweaking this and tweaking that. And then suddenly, whoa, the doors are open and there's the sun again. There's, um, there's always a reason why someone's sick. When doctors say, it's hereditary, more often than not, it is kind of hereditary, but the hereditary side is a bug finds it easier to live in your body than other people's bodies. That's very common, more common than people think. And just recently, they're discovering that pathogens go back to things which they never even thought about, like even multiple sclerosis is pathogen based.
Mhm.
We,
Cancer,
I monitor, I'm in
can you hear me?
and so I monitor them. Yes, I can hear you. It's a little bit low, but I can hear you. So whenever we hear this news, we scour the databases for the DNA sequences for these same pathogens. We group them all together and we create a multiple sclerosis preset. So we do the work. So people just have to click on the preset and start it. So we're on the game. We're right leading edge, and we will always be there because that is where our heart is, to always provide the best solutions.
And you have a great
We've got so
team
many.
because if there is any questions, they immediately answer. That's what people always write. I get immediately support, help from the team. They tell me what to do because it's like learning to operate a machine. It's not just,
Absolutely.
but people say I'm always tinkering with my spooky, and you can even create your own frequencies and do
Yeah,
research. And so
yeah.
it's like a lifelong passion. Once you get on that wagon, like I got my spooky a few days ago, and my husband's been, oh my God, I can go crazy about that.
Yes,
But
yes.
is there an illness or condition that you haven't had success with so far? Or there is no such?
Actually, no. There were some that we had difficulties with, and they were ones which were protein-based. But about a month ago, I developed a method of stimulating or inhibiting proteins, which means even if a condition is truly inherited, like it's you've got multiple copies or a malfunctioning copy of DNA within your genome, we can address that too with the protein database. This is so new. I haven't made an official release of this, but we don't want to have no answer to anybody. We want to have a solution for everybody. And so, no, there is nothing that Spooky has not been able to help. There are some serious diseases like small cell lung cancer, which is small cell lung cancer as well as pancreatic cancer. Those two are really, really difficult. But even those we've managed to resolve. And one, our very first scalar customer, she resolved her cancer. It was a prototype machine. That's how new it was. Whilst we were in America holding conferences explaining the benefits of scalar, she sent us a text or several text messages showing the report from her doctor, showing how it goes from big to smaller to, gosh, where is it?
So your
A
first client was a cancer
very first client, which is
PhD.
very,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And we hadn't even written any instructions, but we had given her verbal instructions.
Mhm.
And when we got back to China, because that's where I am, um, we contacted her and said, how did you apply it? Because there's different ways. We were thinking that she was using molecular modulation, which means putting a substance on the receiver coil, and then your body gets the benefit of the substance. And she says, no, she just turned it on and slept in the field.
She
That's all
was.
she did. She
She,
just turned it on and slept in the field. Just
so she
kept
wasn't
on.
even holding anything.
No,
Just
no,
close to the
no.
machine or not even.
Well, it's a scalar. A spooky scalar is two boxes that are generally around 3 or 4 meters apart. And between these two boxes, a scalar field is created. And all she did was get inside the field, nothing else, which I thought, well, that's kind of cool, you know. So that was a big, that really put a smile on our faces. I mean, not so much that our machine was good, but that we managed to resolve her breast cancer. And wasn't very long either, just so fast, so fast,
Well,
you know.
for me,
And
it was 1.5 hours. My healer put me between those two machines, but put some things on my wrists as well, because they're very
mm,
different modes.
mm,
You can use it without touch. You can use it on distance. You can leave a nail in the
mm, mm,
and
mm.
within 1 hour, she says, let's do you 3 times the program for Lyme, because she discovered Lyme, and she said for you it attacks the nervous system. That's why you're
Yes,
so nervous, because I was
yes,
so anxious. I couldn't breathe.
gosh,
Says it's Lyme at the final
yeah.
stages. It's
Wow,
gone in 1.5 hours. It's gone.
gosh,
All those symptoms I've had for years, and I didn't know it was Lyme. It's incredible. Whatever you've
mm,
done, it's. Do we deserve this as humans yet? Do we deserve to be free from illness? That's
yeah.
all.
That
Wonder.
that healer, that healer would have had a very good intent. They would have really had their heart in resolving your health. It's what I find. Some of it is intent. I mean, it's like when you pray for somebody, isn't it? The same thing. We can have the best equipment, but if someone hasn't got the intent, then the results can be lackluster.
Mhm.
And yet we've seen absolute miracles. We've seen X-rays of jaws which were just riddled with cancer. So the jawbone was just decayed, just gone. And then a year later, it was fully there again, like how it should be. So the bone had reconstructed itself. And this person was very, very focused on healing himself. And
Great.
and by extension, actually, if a company has its focus on profit, right? And it's got its shareholders and board of directors and blah, blah, blah. The equipment they have will be an extension of their views on life.
Mhm.
You know, in our place, every single staff member loves working for us and really wants everyone to benefit 100% from our devices, to the point where they put up on the walls the Ho'oponopono mantra of, you know, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And they're thinking positive thoughts in the equipment as they're making them.
Great.
And you know, if anyone comes into our place and they look around and they've got a preconception of China being you know, what is it, a sweatshop,
Mm.
we are the opposite.
Yeah.
We are the polar opposite. You know, we are, when I go to work, the staff will say, love you. And I say, I love you back. And I do. I love them.
I can feel
That
your energy, John. You are otherworldly. There is this peace in you and this that immediately enveloped me as well. So I'm sure you came to Earth with this mission and you're spreading it to everyone around you and attracting similar people that are not there in for the money. They're there for the concept and for the mission that we came from above.
yes, yes. And also the friends that we have developed over the years, people that, you know, we have scientists on board, physicists on board, mathematicians on board. We've got a global team of people that their sole aim is to contribute and help as much as they can, because they come to know how we are. They understand that we aren't in it for the money. We're not really a business, even though we are. We don't. It's not where our mind is. Our mind is to solve health issues. And the pay rate's lousy for them. It's nothing.
So there are still idealistic, divinely inspired scientists who don't want to
Yes,
be part of the big machine,
they're
who
not.
don't want to be part of Big Brother. But I want to
Yeah,
ask Dr.
yeah.
Wright, 100 years ago, his laboratory was destroyed. He was banned. He healed cancers for stage 4. How
Yes.
are you not being closed down by the powers that be, by big pharma? How did you manage to escape that?
I know we have been and are still being monitored, and to a little extent, small extent, controlled, but not morally. Nothing will ever sway us in 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 changing the way that we think when we create these devices. But we are now being more and more restricted in what we can say, what we can have on our website. Yes, it's not free sailing, but it's the world we live in, Lara. We've had several generations of control by some people over the health system. Now, in some ways, it's been good. You know, I'm not a conspiracy person, and in some ways, it's good. You can't beat the diagnostics of modern medicine. It's absolutely amazing. But the thing is, what do you do when you get that report in your hand? You know, from
Mhm.
there on in, it goes downhill, because the only solution is substances,
Mhm.
and it's not the only solution. And even if it is the only solution, you don't have to swallow it. All you need to do is place it on the scalar coil, and then you get the effects of that medicine without any of the side effects of your body trying to kick out this poison. So it's a win-win situation. And you know, these compounds that they give you. I'm trying to find a good word that they won't be censoring me on. These compounds that they give you, they're often quite expensive. But if you use it the way I've just described, the one tablet will last for years. It doesn't
Absolutely.
get used up.
Well, in
So
Bulgaria, because we go
isn't
to
that cool?
holistic alternative doctors, here I go. all of them have
Oh, great.
the spooky, all of them,
Yeah.
and they say this,
Yes. Yeah.
and they also tell you take some supplements and food,
Oh,
nutrition,
absolutely. Absolutely.
herbs, but they said this alone can, and they said pretty much everything is a pathogen. Pretty much every disease is connected with a
Mm.
parasite or a pathogen of some.
Sure. Sure.
What about this new German medicine that says there is no viruses, there is no bacteria, there is everything is, it's kind of, they're saying it's due to traumas or feelings or emotions. How do you, or you probably are not aware of this? Because there is a
Well,
theory that there is no germ theory. How does this
mm.
work?
I know, and they're saying that, viruses haven't been photographed. Well, they have been. And Royal Rife, the gentleman who 100 years ago resolved stage 4 cancer in 16 people in a proper controlled experiment, he photographed it. He photographed these pathogens. He filmed them, for goodness sake, living. So it's hard to say that doesn't exist. Maybe the truth answers in the middle. Like their argument is really terrain. If the terrain of your body is such that it encourages morphing of your cells into something nasty and then disease happens, really ultimately it doesn't matter how they got there. They've got to be gone.
Exactly.
Um, but if they were from your body, they wouldn't have different DNA genomes, and they do. Pathogens have different DNA sequences, whereas if they came from your own cells, they wouldn't. But I mean, I'm not going to argue. I'm not that smart that I can say conclusively. I've got an open mind, but I do know that with the different genome sequences, we can target them like a sniper, and wherever they came from, we can get them packing. You
Mm.
know, that's our goal.
So, but it's not going to harm the body if you're using the wrong frequency. Say you might think, oh, I have this, let me try this program. But it's actually, you've been wrongly diagnosed or whatever, you don't have it. Is that
Okay.
going to harm you with those?
No,
I try
the
to
thing is,
10 frequencies per day. Let me go through all of them, you know.
sure, sure. Well, that's what frequency sweeps actually do, Lada. They apply all frequencies, between 40 kilohertz and 1.8 megahertz, 41 kilohertz. So, um, your body is made up of cells, just like pathogens, but our body cells are different. I mean, not apart from the fact that they're larger, they've got the support of other cells connected to this, they're connected to each other like bricks.
Mhm.
Whereas a pathogen cell hasn't got the support of its mates all around it. It's floating in some plasma or yucky stuff. And so they don't need so much energy to get them destroyed.
Mm.
You can shake them much easier. And so with any frequency, I mean, within reason, you can apply moderate power levels and it does nothing. It has no effect on your
So
body cells.
the healthy
So you
part.
can rest assured.
Yeah. Sorry, I think there is some lag.
That's right. That's yeah, sorry about that. I had a pop-up come up on my computer, but maybe it wasn't that. The internet in China also isn't that amazing, so I must apologize for that. Um, yeah, so it is safe to apply any frequencies. In fact, some frequencies, and in particular the lower frequencies, are wonderful for entrainment, which means getting your organs to function how they should be, getting everything working together. It's like soldiers marching along, but they're all marching at their own different rates. And it's just one horrible mess and it's chaos. But entrainment frequencies get the soldiers marching in unison. So,
Yeah.
yeah, frequencies do amazing things, things that you probably never really thought about, like even sleep. If you apply the Earth's heart, the Earth's pulse through scalar, you can drop off to sleep so easily. That's 7.83 hertz. It's a very slow frequency. Um, Now, as a company, we've got a large range of products. We've not only got Spooky2, but we've also got Mirror Mate and Hiwi, and different products have different ways of applying the frequencies. Um, from the very top, we have both the scalar, which we've talked about, and plasma, which is a very high power device, which is the same kind of advice that Dr. Royal Rife used 100 years ago when he wiped out cancer in his patients. And from then we have the contact mode, which I guess you were using.
Yes,
You might have been you might have been in Scalar as well. A lot of clinics have Scalar running in the background,
yes.
24/7. They just leave that on because the healing field of a scalar has amazing potential. So when you're sitting in the waiting room to be treated, you're actually being treated.
Already.
Yeah, yeah.
Indeed.
And we've got laser devices, we've got pulsed EMF devices, which is magnetic healing. We've got a lot of things, and of course, we always have things in the pipeline. You know, I know that we are the biggest um, alternative. Oh, I don't like the word alternative. Alternative health equipment supplier in the world. Um, I'm not saying it to beat my chest, but I'm saying it because we'll never rest on our laurels. We'll always push ourselves as hard as possible to continue to provide the solutions. I mean, the fact that we're the largest is kind of coincidental. It's just, well, I should say incidental. It's very, very unimportant to us. But we've just happened to become larger because people have come to learn that we are probably the only supplier that can be trusted, which is sad. You know, when I first started, what did we have? We had, well, I don't want to mention the GB4000, so I won't mention them and a few others. But they charge so much money for their devices, and their devices aren't as good as ours.
Mm.
And yeah, when we started to grow, we got some emails, grumpy emails from these suppliers saying, "Look, you can't do that." And so I write back, "Why not?" And then the answers from then on varied from it's not being what's the word? Oh, it's I wish I could think of this word because it's like going against the moral compass of business because we're making them out of we're making them go out of business, and therefore we're going to become dominant, or we're going to be like we're going to be like Google's now, like there's no competition, and then we're going to I never thought about that before. But then I thought, well, I'm not going to charge more money because of them. They
Yeah.
wanted me to charge $5,000 plus for the plasma. I know. And then why should I? I mean, they're not in my company, and I don't agree with that kind of mindset. I
Absolutely.
don't believe I don't believe in supply demand graphs where if demand goes up, the cost goes up because the supply doesn't meet it. I don't believe in that. I just believe we've got to get the supply higher and there's nothing that'll make me increase the prices. Nothing. Even when America started pushing China out, all our components are from America, right? So we import them and we make them here. The components became very, very expensive because of the tariffs that someone in power decided to put, on us. And then they halted some components, some of the very clever ones that were used in our top end devices. So we had to find even more expensive ones to replace them. Even them, Lada, we didn't increase the prices. We managed to just wafer thin with our margins and still kept it solid at that price. We're proud of that, and we won't increase our prices just because our competition wants us to increase prices. We had one person from Germany. Well, maybe I shouldn't be too specific, so I won't mention what the machine was, but he was very upset because he accused us of copying him. Now, when he's saying us, he's talking about me because I designed the equipment, and
Mm.
I know whether I've copied someone or not, and I didn't. I followed the patent of a gentleman that lived 1,000, sorry, 1,000, 120 years ago or so, Nikola Tesla. And so the patents are well expired. And so I've just based my device on that and developed and made it better for health anyway. And so he went a bit to and fro. The last time I heard from him was he was going to involve his lawyer. And I never got the lawyer letter. It was just tough, just wind. But I get a lot of this where other suppliers say we can't release this product because of this or because of that. And it's always a business reason. It's never, ever thinking about the end user. And
Exactly.
that speaks volumes of where their mind is, like the people who buy our products, they don't want to know about these struggles. They just want to get better, and good on them. That's what we want them to do. Yet we've got these clowns coming to us and trying to stipulate what we can sell, how much we can sell it for, and even hobble some of our devices because our devices do things that they can't do. These can't do. Like our scalar um, machine doesn't use a carrier frequency, and maybe most people don't realize this, but carrier frequencies can be quite poisonous to the body. Ours doesn't do that, and theirs do. And so they've bought a few of our products, knowing we sold that to them, and then they pulled them apart trying to find how we did it. And they still haven't managed to make a plasma machine that doesn't use a carrier. They still haven't copied it. The magic ingredient is love, and they just don't have it. We, it is, it is, it is.
Maybe the
So
light
our
forces
scale,
are behind you and helping you if you stay that humble and with the
oh,
right intention.
absolutely.
And maybe that's why they're
Actually is.
not on your back to destroy your work yet. You're being protected by higher force.
I believe we do have well, they are our Dharma protectors where something needs to be done and we were chosen. It might have been my stubbornness. I don't give up. If I've got a technical problem, I keep on. And if I give up, I keep on. I get back to it.
For the sake of our viewers who love astrology, what is your sun sign, John?
It's Taurus. I'm right at
We'll
the
say
edge
with it.
of
Give up. Right on the edge.
I'm Taurus going on Gemini. So
So a bit of the
you're
G.
right. I'm a cusp.
Yes.
So I don't know what I am.
So what do you reckon? Do you work with a
But
lot
yes,
of doctors actually? Like a lot of
yes,
healers and
yes,
doctors that use your device?
absolutely. Well, sure, because one person cannot know everything, and these researchers that have got a medical background, medical degrees, medical registrations, very often they run an allopathic clinic during the day and then a real clinic at night time. And I work with these. I've got Florida, um, one just north of Florida, Hong Kong, England, Germany. Um, these people have got the facilities that we don't have. They've got the biological test. We've got we've got our own laboratory, but it pales next to theirs. Um, I tell you what normally happens, and just recently, this German researcher was followed this path. Originally, they come to us with an idea, okay, but they give half of their idea. They're kind of not. They're a little bit hesitant because they're not sure what we'll do with it. So, okay, great. Okay, let's make it into a product. Uh, we do, and then as we go to and fro, they come to realize that there's something we're missing something. We are missing ego. We don't we don't have an ego. And there'll be times when I'll say, oops, I made a mistake, bad call, okay? And then we move on. That's fantastic because it means that everything we build on is on truth, on facts, and has been proven by several people. And so we develop things this way, where in the end we've got a magical product. We've got someone who has learned that we can be 100% trusted, and they know that we will not claim to have developed it on our own. We'll put their name on the product, like they helped us do it. Like so our scalar unit was um, took a year of developing. I was working closely with several researchers from France. So Sebastian Mercier, he was a person that was key to the development of that product. It wasn't purely me. It really wasn't. But I'm supported by so many amazing people. And they know I'm going to do some name dropping, it's them that did a lot of the donkey work. I just make it happen. And so now that we're large, we've got the manufacturing facilities, we've got the staffing, we've got everything to make an idea become a reality in a reasonably short length of time.
Yeah, what is your estimates?
So
How
yeah,
many thousands of people around the world are using Healy approximately?
well, for our spooky products, there'd be oh look, well, our Facebook group is about 45,000, and maybe that's like 10% of our users. Maybe
So
we're
people,
big.
a lot of people are awakening and finding those new methods of healing and seeing
Yeah.
results of
Now,
it.
if we were bad, or if we had a pyramid marketing scheme like a few health supply companies do, we wouldn't be as big now. People wouldn't talk to us in a positive way. Um, we work with people. We don't call battles, even at times when it's looking like, oh, this could get nasty. Look, okay, we'll just agree and move on. We don't, we avoid battles, but we try and work with people. I tell you a story. One person, they really were hard-nosed. To me, they seemed very arrogant. And they were causing actually trouble. They were making public posts on the internet about this and that. I mean, it wasn't true, but in their mind it was true, and that's important to them. So I thought, well, look, I'll contact this person directly and work through their issues. Now, this person, after a while, became a trainee for Spooky2, a promoter of our products. And truth be known, some of his points were valid,
Yes.
and so we made changes and things moved on. This is how we are. If we had an ego, we'd be telling him even today, you're wrong, or there's no way we're going to work with you.
Yes.
So many
Turn your
battles.
enemies into your most zealous supporters with humbleness and truthfulness. I
I
love your
think,
strategy. I use the same, and
yeah,
it works. So,
yeah. Well, and then at the end of the day, you realize, well, these people aren't bad. It's my perception of them. And what we're wary of is what you see in people is often a reflection of yourself. And maybe in the past, you've you've done something, and the way that karma works is gone the circle. And so now we work through things. I mean, no, there are really no winners in battles, really. You may get a day of pride, but pride is one of the worst kind of emotions to have. We don't have pride as such. We just have a drive. Okay.
I
Because
love.
with pride comes ego, and then, that's the start of the slide down. All we want to do is create the world's best products. And of course, you want as many people to know about it so that they too can become healed. Not for the bank balance or anything like that. And regarding that, we've got so many charities. Sometimes I think, gosh, how do we survive? Each month we release animals into the wild. We go to a food market, Lada. Um, I don't know about Bulgaria, but here they have live animals in the food markets, and it's really sad when you look at them. You look at the eyes, and there's souls behind these eyes. That they are. And so we buy as many animals as we can, and we release them where they can't be caught. And so they live their happy animal lives. We support other charities. We do it. because we do we check to make sure that all the money is going to the people and not in the administration. There's so many are, and then we throw the profits at them. But so in a way, Lada, people that buy from us are donating. For every sale, $3. It used to be $1, but you've bumped it up to $3 goes to a charity without any sort of that happens automatically, and then a proportion of what's remaining in the bucket goes into the charity work, which is hospitals, orphanages, people that are starving, catastrophes worldwide like earthquakes. There's more of those happening all the time. I think, Lada, we were the first people probably in the world to send money to Turkey. Now, at that time, the Western governments were sort of supporting other countries because Turkey wasn't really in their favor. But we did. We threw money straight away, and well, it happened so fast that the people got the money and didn't know who it came from. And then it came, the backtracking. I found it came from us. And then why did we send it? Well, we heard about the news, and we sent it straight away because we don't have to have the approval of a board of directors, see, or anything. We just send it straight away. And I think our shipment, and we sent clothes and some spooky gear as well. Just sent it straight away. That was sent from us, but it actually came from our customers.
Oh, wow.
And so our customers, we believe, well, because the customers bought our products and their funds went there. So we believe that will also aid in their recovery towards health.
So you're giving the paradigm of the future way of doing business, hopefully more and more, not those big conglomerates where cash is king, and you're giving the example of the businesses of the future. And this feels like a family business as well to me. And your whole community feels like a family as well, that they support each other.
Oh, we are. We are.
If anyone wants to start the journey with scalar and frequency healing, what would you recommend them as a product or
Right. Well, you can actually have a look at what we can do without spending a cent or a dime or whatever currency where you are, by downloading the software, which is free, because you can download the software and you can run it in test mode, which means it emulates the connected generators. And then you can hunt through, look, see, make sure that we're telling the truth. Okay, so you can see in the database, is there a database entry for Demodex, which is mites, for example, right? So you get the download, get the software, load it up, and then you search for that. Oh, there is. Oh, hang on a moment. There's more than just one. There's several. Wow. You mean I can try one, then try another and see which one is best? Yeah, this is the way we work. So you download the software for free, and that can be downloaded at spooky2-small.com. And it's the same site for buying the hardware. But don't rush in. Just have a look at the software and have a play around, make sure you're comfortable with it. And then after that, you think, okay, I'll give it a spin. Well, I'll tell you why I'm not a salesperson. I'm bad at selling things, because I've got to give you an example. Buy the cheapest thing possible. Buy the starters kit, right? That's cheap as cheap. And you get one generator, you get the contact pad, and that's the absolute essentials for getting up and running. But that's all you need to get an inkling of how to use it and the effects. So you get that, connect it up, and okay, you'll find results are happening. You think, golly, this is good. I wonder if I should add to it. Well, Spooky is like Lego. You buy another generator, you plug it in, and then you've got two. And you can control two simultaneously. At the same time, run two. And so you
oh,
run
you can run two programs, you mean, when you
two,
have
you can
I
run
don't and I'm like, what do I do with two? Why do I need two? I don't understand.
Oh, right. Well, there's a big thing about Spooky. Well, Spooky can connect 120 plus generators. There's
Oh,
really no there's no practical limit. But again, the larger question, what do you do with 120 generators?
a
I'll
fun.
tell you what you can do, and it's not rude. Um, our very first accessory is called a remote. You place your DNA in the remote and you apply frequencies to that DNA and you get treated. This is the very same type of system that I spent 1 year as a fully qualified technical engineer. I tried to prove wrong over the course of a year until I lost the argument. But it was a happy losing, I was happy. This is with a gentleman in South Africa. So I refined it and this and that. But for each of those generators, you can put remotes of your loved ones, your family, friends. And by family, I also mean pets, because they're family as well. You put a nail clipping inside the remote, and then you run the program on that remote. And then in the next generator, you run a program for, you know, Mrs. Dunchiva down the road, right? Put her nails in there, start it up, and then because she's got problems, everyone seems to have health problems nowadays. And then this person's got sore joints, so you get their DNA, put that in another generator and start that one on arthritis programs or joint programs. All of these programs can be different and can run simultaneously and independently from each other. And no other, I don't think there's any other, even now, after 15 years of having had the software, anyone else that can do what we can do, running independently. So yes, remotes are very, very good. I think the starters pack does have a remote, but it
Yes.
would pay to check. But remotes are very, very, very convenient because when you think about it, it kind of sucks having to sit down and hold on to the cylinders. It's okay if you're going to a clinic and you know you're there for half an hour to an hour. But wouldn't it be great, Lada, to do the same treatment 24/7 while you're doing whatever, doing shopping, doing driving, when you're in another country?
Well, I was wondering
Any,
with my husband, is it less effective if you put your nail clipping there, or is it just as powerful as holding it? Because we're practical people. You think if you hold it and you feel the vibration or something, it's like probably
I
works
know,
more.
I
Or
know,
have you
I know.
seen difference in the intensity of work with using different methods?
We've been through 3 generations of this remote. The first remote was probably around 1/10 as good as contact mode. But
Mm.
when you think about it, Lada, that's not so bad because instead of a 1 hour treatment, you do 10 hours. But these 10 hours, you can be doing anything and it doesn't really matter. The second generation was about 2 to 1, so 2 hours versus 1 hour. Our current remote is the same as contact mode. I would say it's about level pegging, about the same.
Okay.
So that means that you can do a 1 hour treatment and it's the same as in contact mode. You won't feel it like a buzzing, but you see the effects. Um, it's we have a lot of clinics around the world that only use remotes. You can send in DNA from any country to them. They start a program. There's a gentleman in the Netherlands, I think he's in the Netherlands, that does this service, and he's got a huge system, and he runs his programs by remote, and the people get the results, through their health improvement, and it's subtle. It's like when you wake up one morning and think, hang on a moment, my back isn't sore anymore. I haven't got a headache anymore. I'm thinking straight. I've got energy. Or, wow, that was one heck of a sleep. You know, all these things.
Do you have one
Um,
for the appetite and cravings? And I was going through it. You have for everything, for psychological
everything,
reasons, for
everything.
overeating, drinking, and all of those. It's not just diseases.
Right. We have the world's largest database because we develop it ourselves. Um, we've approached it scientifically and we've nailed things down. And because we've got the advantage over other companies, because we've got hundreds probably thousands of researchers that can test and ensure that these frequencies work. Yeah, we've got an unfair advantage. Don't you love it?
But
Yeah.
you're fair people. That's what matters. And God will give you more and more unfair advantage because of your fairness.
Unfair advantage because of the fairness. I like that. Yeah. Well, before us, it was just a scramble for money. It really was. It's a lucrative market because when you see people sick, a loved one sick, you'd spend any amount of money to get them well, wouldn't you?
I bought
And
all the frequencies machines I've ever seen. I'm crazy about I've
yeah,
over the years I spent a few thousand. And when I saw the price of your device, I'm like, really? But then your device has hundreds of thousands of reviews, and people are saying,
yes,
this and this. I'm like, this is the most powerful. I've tried them all. And I'm
yes,
so happy you sent me one.
yeah.
You don't have to spend money now.
It's a common thing, where some people are pressuring us to raise the prices because then people will associate it with quality. See? Our Generator X has got 6 powerful computers in it. It's got we built that from scratch. Everything from its diamond cut, die cast aluminium case to everything inside it. It's all made by us. That is one amazing generator that is not matched by any other generator on the planet. It's got 8 decimal places resolution. It's got biofeedback built in. And we don't charge thousands and thousands of dollars. We could do because it's got the specifications that other people would do, would use. People buy these. Am I allowed to say things like F175? No, I better not say it. But these machines that have got biofeedback for thousands, many thousands of dollars for one. And you can't daisy chain them together like you can with Spooky. Let's say you've got a Spooky setup, which has got all the cheap generators, which are still really good generators. And then you think, I'm going to splash out because I want to do some real serious biofeedback. So you buy a Generator X, just one. That's all you need because those generators have got 2 generators built in, just by the by. And then
Oh,
and then you do a biofeedback and wow, instead of a biofeedback taking 1 hour, it takes 6 minutes
yeah.
and the results are better. So I think, oh, huh, I'm going to buy some more generator X's because then I can have extra precision in the higher frequencies. And so you do that, and you can grow. It's just like Lego, you can have a Lego set and then you run out of bricks, so you buy some more bricks and make an even bigger castle. You can make your own castle using Spooky2.
That's what my husband said. He says, if I go down this rabbit hole, I'm probably gonna get obsessed and I'm gonna grow it and get extra parts and do my own laboratory. It's fascinating once you go down this road.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and if you're someone with more creative thinking, you can develop your own vibrations, as far as I heard,
yeah,
the
yeah. That's
program.
right. That's right. You can create your own programs. It's very, very flexible. Spooky's been designed for people that are just starting off and just want to run a program, right, right down to the people that want to get to the nuts and bolts and change waveforms, phase angles, amplitudes, and all the rest of it to get everything super, super, super good. And if they do find something absolutely amazing, they let us know. We make it into a preset, so it becomes a one button press to go thing.
Oh, so this whole community working together and all those
Absolutely.
researchers, and they say we discovered that this setting, it's incredible. It
Yep.
takes out the
Yep.
time
Yep.
to
Yep.
get rid of that health condition,
Yep.
and you integrate it. And there is, as
Absolutely.
far as I know, there is also free updates to the Spooky.
Of course. Of
So
course. You think
once
we
you want to
charge?
do something new, you just update your software.
That's right. Absolutely. Like we're regularly updating the databases um, with different varieties of pathogens, like the I can't say the word, but it's a COVID dumping dumping. Can't remember the other two letters. That changed every 2 weeks. There'd be a big change. So I was releasing that database every 2 weeks. So people always had the very, very accurate and precise frequencies, not the rough ones, but the absolute precise ones. And I know that there's a great number of people walking around today that would have been beneath the ground if we
Oh.
hadn't provided
And
those
because the
latest
thing was
frequencies.
changing, because they kept having newer and newer ones, and
Yeah,
that's why
the
you
different
were
variants coming
updating,
out.
yeah, the variants,
Yeah.
and you were
And so it's important.
catching the vibration and putting it in so people can.
Sure. Now, frequencies like this, there are other people that run businesses from them. They would charge for each program. The going rate is at $15 per program. That's what I've noticed is the general rate. Now, our database is like $50,000 program, so we could be rich, but we aren't. But we not only release ours for free, they're also more precise. And I've written papers explaining why the others don't work as well as they could do. But also they're more up to date because we update them so often that they catch latest variants. And when you read in the news, oh, this variety, this flavor is running around now, it'll be in our database because we are we are very proactive in
Mm,
health.
the whole community.
So,
Can you use
yeah.
the device Spooky also to capture the frequency of something that you to measure it?
Yes, yes.
Mm.
That's our generator X. We use generator X to capture the frequencies, even of substances. I captured the molecular weight frequencies for many essential oils
Oh,
and added them into our database.
and then you can
Oh, the sky.
recreate it and send it to yourself.
Yeah, that's right. The sky's the limit. There is no limit, really, what frequencies
Can
can
you
do. It's
capture the
every
frequencies of objects and a person or an idea as well?
the way to do that. We have a device called a sample digitizer. It digitizes the molecular substance. Um, and so oil, it's good because it's a liquid. It can spread out far across the digitizer sample plates. Pardon me. And then you run the frequency sweeps, and then you see what the results are. Of course, why not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lovely, beautiful, isn't it? Like, really, the more you learn, the more you realize how amazing frequencies are. A gentleman from Spain. Now, men, after the age of around 60, they start developing prostate issues. And it's not like a certain percentage, it's basically everyone. Now, Spooky2 has a preset or two presets for prostate enlargement. And he independently developed the absolutely amazing frequencies for dealing to it. And so he did it, and I looked at it and I thought, hey, this is pretty good. So I asked him, can I put this as part of the preset pack in Spooky? He says, yes. And that's done. That's it. And so this is how Spooky's grown by getting the little nuggets of gold from all the different countries in the world, from very good people that do donate. They've put in a lot of effort into their presets. So of course I put their names in the presets. And suddenly solutions like this are available to everybody.
Great.
See,
Well, that
not
sounds
just not
very
just not just.
Aquarius. We're entering the age of Aquarius. Frequency healing is Aquarius energy, and community contributing to a high idea and mutual well-being is very Aquarius. And you're representative of this new uh, business model, this new way of working with people in community, supporting and uplifting each other. Thank you for your work, John.
Right.
Thank you for your
All right. Well,
contribution. And again, if anyone
you
would
know,
like to contact John, or I'll put links below. Your team will send me
okay,
links, I suppose, so people can
wonderful.
get in touch with you. His team is incredible. Every question is answered within 12 hours or less. And I'm looking forward maybe to seeing you again and to tell you my side now. I'm gonna start treating the whole family and my brother who snores too much and my dad who snores too much. I'll start with everything I can figure out, and maybe
Wow.
a few months from now we can get back together and I can report
Okay.
my personal
Okay.
experience. Would you like to have
Great.
some final words for our viewers?
Well, yes. Okay, I'll make something up on the fly. There's there's a lot of people who are suffering, and they think that the suffering is natural. They think that they're growing old, so it's okay to get sore joints or to develop conditions of sort their organs start slowing down. Well, actually, Lada, it's not. More often than not, it's because their burden of pathogens is becoming greater over time. And there's things you can do, but the thing is, you don't realize it until you start dealing to them, and then you suddenly start realizing, gosh, this is what I've been missing out on. This is the new me. This is, you don't know it. You don't know what your body is capable of. But we want to restore people back to their state of health. So I do encourage people to visit us at spooky2-small.com and just get lost in all the links and information and everything. But remember, you're never alone. As Lada says, we've got our support team. I think if you go onto that website and then just keep your hands off the keyboard, a little box appears, which is our live chat, which is a real person saying, hey, I'm here for you. A real person. Wow, that doesn't happen nowadays much. And then you can type away, and you might ask questions like, what is frequency healing? Or, maybe you want to learn more. Well, we can point you in the right direction. It might be a winding path, but I tell you what, once you meet the destination, once you manage to restore your health, wow, your life just changes completely. There's no excuse for tolerating any sort of pain. The
Thank
other
you.
thing I'd like to say to everyone is pass the love forwards. Okay, don't always think of yourself, just pass it forwards,
Well,
because that also reflects back to yourself. Yeah.
wonderful. Even without age, I had it since 20 till my early 40s to finally discover what's wrong with me and eliminate it.
Yeah.
I feel reborn at
Mhm.
40. I feel better than at 20. So it's work you do and all other
Fantastic.
great minds like you. Again, thank you everyone for joining us. I hope this information is meant for you in some way. Hopefully it will lead you to the right path for your healing. Thank you again, John, and thank you everyone.
Thank you.